I don't play a lot of mecha games, but my first introduction to mecha wasn't come from Gundam, Armored Core or Evangelion, but it was from an anime called Night Lamune. Ever heard about this anime? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, Armored Core 6 with only melee weapons. Is it possible for me? Maybe. In this video, I'll try to use all melee weapons to beat the game, but also I'm putting some exceptions towards core expansions. Those are the only things I'm allowed to use outside the melee weapons. So, we good now? Let's get started. As soon as I landed on RUBICON, I did all the tutorial as fast as I can so I can reach the first boss of the game, the PCA helicopter. We're so lucky our default AC is equipped with Pulse Blade and we can start the challenge right away without having to work on the setup. On my first playthrough, this boss is a cakewalk. However, using melee requires a reachable range that troubles me for some time to get used to. I died like 3 times before finally able to maintain my distance and double strike it whenever I got a chance. It's a good tutorial boss to test your skill and reflexes. Shop is now open, and since we're going for a full melee build, I suspect I would build my AC that focus on speed and melee specialization. One important thing that I bought is the Link Tie generator that has the highest EN recharge and recovery. There wasn't a lot of stuffs on early games, so let's just focus on sorties for now. I don't have any problem with regular missions, they're quite easy to tackle with the Pulse Blade so far. Operation Wallclimber.
You ready to climb the wall?
This mission has a boss fight, but before that we have to make our way to reach the wall. In front of the gate, there's a Balaam empty kind of mini boss that I had trouble fighting him before, but the Pulse Blade made it all feels like an illusion. So, the boss, Juggernaut. We're gonna take him down together with my new favorite boy, Rusty. Juggernaut is pretty fast at dashing and the front part of its body is completely invulnerable. It also inflicts damage towards you, even if you only touch it a little bit. His weakness, however, is his booster behind him. That's the only part we can land an attack on. Having Rusty distracting him made this fight a lot easier, but he left right after we reached 50% of its health. Well, no problem, it didn't change anything. I just have to keep thrusting forward to prevent him from running away. Create as small distance as I could and the fight will be over in no time. To replace the Pulse Blade, I bought a Laser Blade. Basically a better version of Pulse Blade. You'll see. There is one more normal mission I went through until I unlocked the arena. This is a 1v1 PvE matches based on your story progression that gives you the OS tuning. Now these OS points are gonna be used to level up your AC upgrades. There are many perks I'm focusing on. I couldn't unlock and upgrade them right away, but it will happen gradually as I progress through the game. Of course I couldn't fully upgrade them all, but melee weapons, assault armor, direct hit, dynamic deflection, those have to be fully upgraded. Okay, moving on. After beating these invisible AC, we finally reached the end of chapter 1. And the final boss is Sula.
How many of your dogs must I kill before you learn?
No, no. I'm joking, he's not the final boss. Baltus it is. For you that already played the game, you know how fucking annoying this guy is. I need to learn how to get close to him at all time, since I still have to spare some of my EN to dodge the incoming attacks. Unlike Dark Souls or Elden Ring, that we can just wait until a good opportunity occurs so we can attack. In AC, we have to keep the pressure on the boss as well. I have to quickly break his shield and his poise. It took me almost 2 hours to figure out everything. So, Baltus' infamous attack is the missiles. They're very easy to dodge and I could land a couple hits after that. From this point, he'll be moving around unpredictably, so my only chance is when somehow he's flying close to me. I also use my bare knuckle to leap on him whenever my blade was recharging. Bare hands are good weapons, surprisingly. Second phase, he'll start using flamethrower that deals massive damage if you got caught by it, but it's very easy to dodge. Everything else is the same. I have to endure everything until I beat him. At this moment, I haven't got used to a fast-paced battle, and it's just the beginning. With Baltus down, that concludes chapter 1. As soon as new items available, I always check them out to see if I can get access to the new melee weapons. I usually sleep on Pal Bunker or Ashmid, as from what people usually call it. Yeah, but on my previous playthrough, since I didn't know the value of it. But man, I'm missing out a lot. This thing will carry the entire chapter 2. Well, okay, honestly I got stuck on the smart cleaner just because the Pal Bunker has a very short range and the cleaner moves quite often. The weakness is supposed to be on the red square in the middle, but it was quite hard to reach, so the other vulnerable part is the giant cauldron on his back. Or whatever it is. This fight honestly took long enough for me to make lunch. Grinding his HP by only attacking the big volcano might not be the best method, but it's sure less risky than aiming for the face. I would suggest to keep myself mid-air because the floor is lava, literally. And try to utilize my bare hands to leap like a Spider-Man and switch to Pal Bunker as soon as I'm close. Second phase, it has some additional moves like the hands up and other variations of hands ups. I made sure to stay away because I didn't want to get hit by the eruption. With a little ounce of patience, Smart Cleaner is now dead. I'll say chapter 2 was a short one and the missions were pretty straightforward. Nothing complicated. For the final boss of this chapter is the Sea Spider. This boss could be a very difficult one to fight, but not this time. The safest way to attack the spider is to get as close as you can to it. It will jump away most of the time and I have to keep up with it. Pal Bunker has longer reach for its regular attack. However, its charge attack deals a massive damage but with a shorter range. It can also easily stagger most bosses. A very lethal weapon. Now the downside of this weapon is the reload speed, but we can cover that by using bare hands. These knuckles also deals a decent poise damage. Second phase, the spider will acquire a new ability to stay airborne for the rest of the fight, but it's not a problem for us, because it's much easier to attack it.
This could be some good R&D
I almost died in this stage since my EN management wasn't the best, but luckily they recharged pretty quick for me to get up there. First try, by the way. That's the end of chapter 2 and we're entering chapter 3 now. For a new pair of arms, Basho would be the best for the entire playthrough. It has the highest melee specialization. I think my only focus on the build was on generator and arms. The rest, I didn't care too much as long as they gave me enough speed. I don't know much about the build honestly, so if you guys have recommendations, please let me know. Fighting another AC with Paul Bunker was proven not to be very effective in my case like this, so I brought back my laser blade from the garage. This is the part where I start struggling. Shortly after the PCA arrives, they welcome me right away.
Go 2-3, attending scene. Watch point report checked out.
Unlike Guskin Duo, this fight has less bullshit. But it is no means easy. The Lieutenant is more agile and usually attack you with a laser blade or anything close range. You want to kill him first. Or at least I'm much more comfortable doing so since he's the only annoying one here. I'm using the Paul Bunker and pretty much at disadvantage. But luckily, the arena is in our favor. It has a lot of corners I can use to trap one of them and separate each of those two. Once they got separated, it's game over for them.
You're in real trouble.
In chapter 3, there are like a lot of mini boss fights like the Swinburne and the PCA Heli again. They're not that challenging. On the other hand, some of the arena matches are quite difficult. So perhaps I spend more time on the arena rather than the actual missions, until I finally reach this mission.
That's where you come in. Intercept them and defend the missiles.
This is a defense mission and it might require a long range gun to easily tackle this mission. Having missiles with multi-locks would benefit it a lot, so this mission is hell for me.
Tourist. I'm not that good.
But this is where the stun Baton coming in clutch. This weapon has multiple combos with a super fast reload speed, just exactly what I need. Since the incoming attacks are from 3 different directions, I have to wipe them out before they can reach the bridge. Starting from the left to right, I'll try to destroy the chopper fast enough before they drop the MTs, but sometimes it just didn't happen. Stun Baton also has a decent leaping range that extremely useful combined with bare hands. It turned into an infinite melee combos. With the PCA ship down, I successfully saved one missile. Barely. So this is one of those decision missions I have to choose. At first, I picked going back to the wall, but found out fighting the PCA AC was quite hard, so I chose to fight another boss this time. And oh boy, I picked the right one here. This boss seems invulnerable on the surface, but the middle part where I usually got stuck in is where his weakness at. And as usual, Paul Bunker finished the job with ease. Another duo boss fight and basically the same one from what I've encountered earlier, but this time, my boy Rusty is here to balance the fight.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I've got your back, buddy. Hope you've got mine.
Corporate 84 Robinson, independent mercenary rated. Data on the mercenary is being checked for discrepancy.
Buddy, don't give them an opening.
Sending report to system. Code 78. Threat level
Code 78E received. System processing.
system screen.
I know this chapter 3 might be the longest part of the game. Boss fights wasn't really the problem, but arena fights is surely getting tougher than ever. But they are necessary for OS tuning as we need more damage for the upcoming bosses. During the mission with Carla, I found a hidden chest that gave me the chainsaw. It's the same one that Honest Brute uses, so I expect it will be a bad weapon. But of course, I have to test it by using it against the next boss, Raven.
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
Well, turns out it could be useful. But yeah, maybe this time I just got lucky. This poor guy got stun locked and cornered at the same time.
Raven, we can still...
Alright, I know this is a melee only run. However guys, hear me out. We can only proceed this mission once the stun needle equipped. It's a gimmick fight like Rykard, but you have to bring the Serpent Hunter or else you're not allowed to proceed. So I made an exception for this one. This only one, I will equip another weapon called the stun needle. We're going in with a bunch of useless crew except for Rusty. And the purpose of the stun needle is only to destroy the Ice Worm shield.
I won't miss.
I'm still using the Pal Bunker to deal damage. It's very simple and easy, but I died a lot on phase 2 because I couldn't dodge the coral wave sometimes. A little oopsie doopsie from being clumsy. And that's the end of chapter 3.
All or nothing.
A new weapon, and it's my favorite. This will be the one replacing the Pal Bunker from now on. Laser Lance has super long reach, but with slow reload speed as well. That's completely fine. At this point, the story unfolds even more than just some corpos fighting each other. I'm not gonna talk about the story in depth. I'll let other YouTubers with better storytelling skills than me to talk about it. But yeah, I somehow love the story. Anyway, jumping down deep into the facility and I face with the hardest boss in the game so far. Not a lot of people mention this, but this motherfucker actually gave me a hard time. I used Laser Lance to close the gap between us, but somehow he could read my next movement and dodge it at the right time to avoid getting hit. Using melee probably my biggest regret in this fight. Not to mention that precise laser that always hit me either in short and long range. This boss also very good at maintaining range, so leaping to him has to be at the right timing, or else he's gonna boost away. But this is not a fight like in Elden Ring and Dark Souls where the boss has openings and patterns. I couldn't see his pattern at all. I tried different weapons and none of them works. So after some times, I discovered an OS upgrades called Weapon Bay. This allows me to add hand weapons to the shoulder slots, and this applies to melee weapons as well. However, the fight still wasn't in my favor and I genuinely want to give up. After some moment and researching on YouTube, I found out Zero Lenny actually uploaded a no weapon run. So wait, it is possible. So I sit back on my gaming chair, pull my pants up and start grinding this boss. Death after death. I spent more than 5 hours until I see a glimpse of hope. I brought Laser Lance and Laser Blade this time. So my goal here is deal as many poise damage as possible. Don't look at the damage at all, just focus on the poise. I can only land 2 hits max and walk normally to save some EN. So whenever I have to dodge, I can. Switch the weapons back to back so when he dodges to random directions, at least one of these weapons can hit him. Having Laser Blade was a good idea to reach a wider area and Laser Lance to reach him if he was far enough. When the poise bar is almost full, I'm utilizing my punches, so I have both weapons ready to inflict direct hit when he's staggered. Using assault armor also crucial when all weapons are unavailable, but I can only do that for a short period of time. Second phase can be dangerous since he'll be using lasers a lot, and I would suggest to bring this fight mid-air to avoid getting hit from the shockwave. But I couldn't do that at all times, so I'll be using Laser Lance more often as my travel distance. Well, all I could say is luck also plays a very big role here. After that horrible fight, at least I could catch my breath for a brief moment on some missions and arenas. Even if I had trouble, it's not the same nightmare as with Enforcer before, so yeah, let's keep going further. Another decision missions, and this time, it's the last Corpo War. I decided to cripple Arquebus since I destroyed Balaam on my previous playthrough, but I didn't expect I have to kill Pater.
Sir, I can't.
It's a 2v2 battle and our ally is from Liberation Front, Middle Fatwell. The whole fight is a clusterfuck but fairly easy, so it was done in seconds. We all know the mercenary lives always ended up with betrayal, and it's the same in this game. We got set up to kill Rusty.
Hate to say it, but RUBICON still needs me. So, buddy, who needs you?
Rusty is my favorite character in this game, but honestly speaking, he's no match for me.
Tell me, buddy.
We are reaching the end of chapter 4. This is what you guys been waiting for. Exploring the location a little bit and I found the Moonlight Greatsword. It's FromSoft being FromSoft. To use this unique melee weapon, I have to beat the final boss of this chapter, the IB series. Yeah, it's everyone's favorite boss and you might expect this will take longer than Enforcer. But it is not, I'll tell you what. This boss is exactly an Elden Ring boss with metal on its body. Basically the only time I can land some attacks is when the opening occurs. It's a pattern based fight unlike the other previous bosses, so there are a couple things I have to keep in mind. First, I must find the openings. Luckily, it's there the first time he makes a move. Now that's the only safe opening I could find. I can sneak some attacks when he's close, but it was too risky sometimes. Second thing, be able to dodge every single attack he throws onto me. This requires practice, which I did already, so I can safely dodge most of the time. Maybe I got hit by small bits of those lasers, but it doesn't matter as long as I can save 2 repair kits until phase 2. The fight would be much easier if I can bridge its voice every time I pierce his torso, but it's good enough. A good advice from my friend who already beat this guy multiple times. Keep striving to the left.
Keep it up, 621. Can't take much more of this.
Second phase, still the same method as in first phase, but it will become more aggressive. We can take that as our advantage. I was being extremely reckless in this fight, but I get the idea of creating your own opening whenever he's close, thanks to laser lens for that long ass range. Okay, so at some point he'll pull out the Brave Bird, like this. It's much easier to dodge it mid-air, either to left or right, and the last dash will be our opening. Even with all this information, I would still say, luck plays a big role.
You've nearly got it, 621. You're the only one who can finish the job.
After the whole fiasco, we got caught by the Arquebus and forced to escape with an old AC. This AC doesn't have any melee weapons, but it has a smoke jammer that I'm allowed to use since it didn't deal any damage at all. Actually, I don't even have to use it. Carla took care of everything. Another defense mission, but it's much easier this time since I'm using the Moonlight Sword. just to test things out before using it to fight a boss like Snail, for example. It's cool and all, but I couldn't use it to fight Carla and Chatstick. Yeah, I betrayed him, by the way. I have to use the laser lance and the blade again to beat them. Their missiles are very annoying, so I need something fast to dodge and attack them at the same time. Hell yeah, see who's back. So this is almost at the end game, and I'm glad Rusty sided with me at the end.
It looks like the guest of honor's here. Hey, buddy. Never thought I'd be rubbing shoulders with the liberator of Rubicon.
I'm going through literally everything, including the second smart cleaner that for some reasons made its way to the ship. Well, I guess I'm able to beat the entire Armored Core 6 with only melee weapons. Until the unexpected happened.
Something's headed straight for your position. I've never seen something move that fast. They must have finished work on Baltus.
That's right, boys. Baltus 2.0 is back, piloted by Snail. You know, even the first Baltus gave me a hard time, but this thing is on another level.
Finally dead.
I tried switching my weapons, changing my build, it won't even cut half of his health. I think it's a good time to end this, and since it's almost the last boss anyway, and if I'm being honest, I got sick of those cheesy dialogues.
You're below that. You are vermin.
So yeah, I'm quite happy to take the L at this moment.
Finally dead, are you?
Well, apparently my friend did it. So it's totally possible. The key that turned the tide of this battle is actually the generator. So I switched my current gen with Sangtai that has high EN capacity. All this time I was relying on EN recharge and supply recovery, but this thing really helped me to get close to Baltus in seconds. For weapons, I brought laser lance and pal bunker. I had to deal as much damage as I can so the fight wouldn't take that long. Destroying the shield might be the biggest problem, so we definitely want it gone quickly. All bunker does the job very well, but I couldn't use it often unless it got staggered. I don't have any method for this battle. I basically just went rampage and unga bunga my way straight up.
Be rid of you.
The second fleet was wiped out. We can't get a lock on him.
Bearing the enemy AC down. Maintain fire!
Second phase, yeah, still a tough fight. And do try to avoid everything purple.
That traitor V4, those dogs in command. And worst of all, you, the pest of Rubicon, who stirred the cinders. You sicken me, all of you. I'll crush you underfoot. I am Arquebus.
AP at 50%.
Not gonna lie, I didn't know assault armor killed the shield right away. So yeah, that'll do.
Arquebus. One last plan.
There you have it, guys. The final boss is our supervisor. That's because I choose this ending. Maybe the fight will be much harder if I pick different endings, but I'll leave that to you guys.
Dispose of you.
Definitely not the smoothest run, but I'm glad I did it. Walter used a regular AC, so it's very easy to corner him.
Obstacles.
Remaining.
Undo the surgery. Be normal again.
Vulture! This has to stop.
Alright, Armored Core has been quite fun, but honestly I don't know if I'm gonna replay the whole mission again. Enforcers and Baltus already gave me PTSD. Anyway, special thanks to channel members, appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. So yeah, I'm gonna take my leave for now. Maybe playing Starfield or creating Elden Ring videos again. I don't know. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
There's another way. Raven. We'll find it together.